In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this really cool Apple Dock animation. I'm super excited to create this. I will of course show you how to create this UI, and I will also give away a free script that will make this 10 times easier. And speaking about UI, if you join the Social Creator Club Pro now, you get a UI pack for free. This pack alone will be worth more than $100, and there's so much more in the Social Creator Club, so do check out the link in the description. And now let's jump into it. The first thing I'm going to do is import a wallpaper. So let's just import this, and you can use anything you want. I think this is really pretty, one of the newest wallpaper in Mac. And let's press S for scale and then scale this up a bit, so we just have the whole screen. Now the next step is creating the dock, and to do that I'm just gonna hold my mouse down while I click and I go to the rounded rectangle tool. And now I'm gonna go to the fill and I'm gonna change that to a gray color, and I might adjust this a bit later on because we also want it to be transparent a bit. So maybe around here, press OK. And then we're just gonna draw something. So let's just draw it like this. So click and hold your mouse down and then just drag it out. And then here on the right, we have the roundness. We need to up that by a lot because it's quite rounded. I would say maybe around 60, maybe 69. Okay, no, maybe 60. Now I'm already gonna press T for transparency and then dial this a bit down, maybe to around 70, just to make sure that it's a bit see-through. And then we're going to go to the effects and presets, and I'm going to add a CC light sweep. Double click and then make sure the sweep intensity is set to 0. The shape is set to smooth, and let's change the center a bit so it's more on the left, and let's increase the width by a lot. And with a lot, I mean like a lot. This literally needs to be at around like maybe 1500. And then the edge intensity, I'm going to dial down so it's not too harsh. I'm gonna set the direction to 0 degrees, and we are already getting somewhere. And I'm gonna right click on the shape layer and I'm gonna add a drop shadow. So layer styles, drop shadow, open the drop shadow and make sure the distance is set to 0. The size is really high. I would even say around maybe 80. And then I'm gonna dial down the opacity by a lot. I'm gonna click on the shape and I'm gonna change the fill to maybe make it a bit darker, so it's just a bit more visible. Maybe drag the background down a bit, somewhere like this. And we already got a really nice dock. Now I'm actually gonna go back to the properties panel. I'm gonna unlink the size and I'm gonna size it down. And this is really important to do it like this, because if you scale it, then you will drag out the rounded rectangle, and as you can see in the corners it will get really ugly. So let's not do that. Let's use the size to size it down, because then we don't have to use too many icons. Now I'm going to import the apps, and I'm just going to go to project and I'm going to import some logos. I have the Notion logo, I have the After Effects logo, and also the Social Creator Club. So let's drag these in, and I think they're way too big. So let's press S for scale and let's scale them down all so they're at least a bit smaller, and then we'll readjust them later on. So let's start with the Social Creator Club. I want to have that in the center. So let's scale that down a bit. Now what you might have noticed is that there's a spot free. So I'm just going to drag in Premiere Pro and let's scale that down too. This already looks super clean. I'm really happy with this. And now I'm going to show you a secret technique to scale these automatically when a cursor comes close. But even if you master this technique and you have the most crazy animation in the world, having bad audio and bad sound effects will kill your animation. And for music and sound effects, I highly recommend Audio. Audio is the sponsor of this video, and they have a new feature called Hands AI. And maybe you're just like me and you have had the situation where you wanted to describe a audio track. For example, I want a music track that sounds like an Apple commercial. Well, now you can just describe the audio track that you want and it will come up with the audio track. Now the cool thing is they also gave me a discount code, and with this discount code you will get $100 off, which means you only have to pay $99 for the first year, which is lower than $9 a month, and you can use unlimited music and sound effects. What's also cool about Audio comparing to other platforms is that the quality of the sound effects and music is super good. So do check out the link in the description, and let's go back to After Effects. Now I also import this cursor PNG, which is a simple cursor. Like you can see, we can just drag this around. I'm gonna press S for scale. I'm gonna scale this down, and we need to use this for later. And now the secret technique. I'm gonna go to File, Scripts, run script file, and I'm gonna run this script that I created for this video. Now, as a Social Creator Club Pro member, you will get access to the project file and a script file. But since I want everyone to be able to follow this tutorial, you can download the script file in the free community too. Of course, link in the description. Now let's run it. We just press open, and when it opens, you get this window. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a controller. It will just create this null object, and if you click here on the source name, this will be called a proximity controller. And now you can select the layers that you want to be affected by this controller. And in this case, I want the Premiere Pro logo, and just hold Shift and the Notion logo. Then I'm going to click on Apply Effect, and this will basically apply an effect and expression to the scale. And the cool thing is that if we move the proximity controller now and we move it close to it, you will see that it will scale up. Now, once you applied it, you might notice that it does work, but it does size differently. And there's a specific reason for this. This is because some icons are a different scale or different size. Now, the quickest way to fix this is to make sure they're all the same size. You can do this in Photoshop, but of course also in After Effects. And to do it in After Effects, I'm just going to create a new composition. The size I'm going to put in maybe like 250 by 250, and we can call this icon, press OK, and we can duplicate this a few times. So in this case, we need this 4 times. So I'm going to press Command D or Control D on Windows, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into the icon. We're going to put a icon in this, and then you can even do right click, transform, fit to comp. This will make sure that it's perfectly in this comp. Let's open the other ones and let's start dragging them in. For the Social Creator Club logo, I'm just going to double click on my rounded rectangle tool so it creates a new shape. Drag that below it. Notion, and let's also scale that down by pressing S on our keyboard. Perfect. Now let's go back to our main comp and let's just drag these in. Now why I'm showing it in this order is because your icons could be fine. For now, I'm just going to delete these icons. Let's select them, delete, and let's reposition these, the new ones. Let's align them and let's distribute them too. And again, just hit the apply effect button. And as you can see, they all scale proportionally, which is really good to see. Now you might wonder, hey Tom, this is cool, but I don't like how the effect looks. Well, we can actually go to the effect controls of this null, and we have some settings here. For example, we can change the scale amount or the proximity distance. The proximity distance is basically the distance that it affects. So basically, if this is really high, this means that it will affect all the icons quite quickly, as you can see. And the scale amount is just how much it scales. I'm gonna dial that down maybe to 15 so they don't touch each other, or maybe 20. Cool. And now here comes the cool thing. We can move this a bit to here, and we have the cursor. We can move that on top of it, and you can even scale it down a bit by pressing S to scale it down. Cool. We can also scale up the null a bit, so it's basically a bit more visible. This won't do anything to the animation. It's just a bit easier to grab it then. And then we can parent the cursor to the null. And if we now move this null around, this will move our mouse too, which means that if our mouse hovers over this, this will also scale up the icons. Now we just need to make sure the cursor is above our icons in our layer panel, and then again select the null to see really the effect happening. I think this is a really cool effect. Now the only thing we have to do is basically make sure that this animates. And to animate it, I'm just going to press P for position, set a keyframe. I'm just going to drag this out. Let's move this null to the bottom, maybe here. And basically, as you can see, boring animation will just come in, and that's it. And we want it to go and hover maybe a bit to right here, and then maybe go to the right until it's on the SEC logo, and then it clicks, right? Now it's still a boring animation and this doesn't look natural at all. So we're gonna go to the pen tool, click on that and hold your mouse down and go to the convert vertex tool. And the cool thing is we can now change this path so it's a bit more organic. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna drag that out a bit. And as you can see, the mouse will go up first, it will go around, and that's it. Now I do want to make this one actually rounded too. I think that will be most natural too. And of course also I'm going to select all the keyframes, right click on the keyframes, keyframe assistant easy ease, or hit F9 on your keyboard. And this will make it a bit more smooth. Basically we'll smooth out on this keyframe. We can also go into the graph editor and then also adjust the keyframe a bit. If you hold shift, we can drag this up, and basically what this will do, it will make sure that it's never stationary, it will never stop. So we can make a nice smooth animation and maybe drag it down a bit. So it will come in, go around, and that's it. And of course you can add motion blur to the cursor that will also add a bit to the effect. Really, really nice. And then you get something like this, and as you can see, it's a really smooth animation, and you can also apply this effect to other projects. Now again, if you want the full UI pack, all my project files, and you want to become a pro editor earning 1 to 5k a month, then do join the Social Creator Club Pro. Link is in the description. Also check out audio, link is in the description. Like always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for all your support, and then I'll see you next time.